Hello everyone, to this day, strange things happen that are still unresolved around the world. For this week's Mystery Miners program, where we bring together mysteries that are still in question, we have chosen King Tutankhamun's curse, one of the greatest kings of ancient Egypt. Today, young people no longer believe in curses, but in ancient times, there was a strong belief in curses and people feared them terribly. In Myanmar history, curses are evident in the history of the Bagam period, and in the world's history, they can be traced back to the history of ancient Egypt. One of the most well-known curses of ancient Egypt was that of Tutankhamun, a famous pharaoh in Egypt. Tutankhamun succeeded to the throne more than 3,000 years ago in 1332 BC, where he was only between 8 and 9 years old. 10 years later after his accession to the throne, at the age of 18 or 19, Tutankhamun sadly passed away, and the cause of his death is still unknown. After Tutankhamun passed on, the remains were made into a mummy according to Egyptian customs. The Egyptians worshipped the dead and made them into mummies with the belief that they would be resurrected after death. They built tombs as well for these mummies. Among the tombs are precious gold, silver, and bronze statues. Money, jewels, and treasuries were buried along with them, as well as curses that were written to protect the tombs from being broken into by thieves. So Tutankhamun's body was buried in the same way, but after that it disappeared for thousands of years. British archaeologist Howard Carter and his entourage were able to find the missing body and grave. Howard Carter and his team discovered Tutankhamun's body in 1922 in the King's Valley near the Nile, and it took years to find it. At the time of the discovery, a tomb full of gold was found with the corpse, with a curse written on it: "Anyone who disturbs the peace of the pharaohs will die from his wings." Among the tombs discovered by Howard Carter and his team, Tutankhamun is said to be one of the most valuable tombs in the world. Because in this cave, there is this body of Tutankhamun. In addition to the coffin and the king's mask, 5,398 other items were also found. Was it just a coincidence or just some strange event? But sometime after the discovery of the tomb, there have been some incidents that have raised questions about whether it actually was a coincidence. It is said that after all the followers of Howard Carter who discovered the tomb died in a short period of time for a variety of reasons, and 8 of them died within 12 years. If you look back at some of these victims and the pattern of their deaths, you may wonder if the curse actually happened. The first questionable death was the death of Howard Carter's pet bird. The death of the bird is not necessarily due to a curse, but it is the result of eating a snake that was used by kings in ancient Egypt. Thus, it can be said that many people began to say that the king brought the curse to life in the same way that he attacked his enemies. Another victim was Lord Carnarvon, who was instrumental in the excavation of King Tutankhamun's tomb. Carnarvon contracted blood poisoning, and the cause of it being a shaving accident where he accidentally shaved off a mosquito bite injury. Some believe that the mosquito bite was similar to an injury that was on King Tutankhamun's cheek. However, no one could confirm this belief, as Lord Carnarvon was buried without autopsy. Another person who died in a tragic accident was Bruce Ingham, a friend of Howard Carter. He did not take part in the excavation, but died in a house fire after receiving a handmade paperweight from a mummy that was gifted to him by Howard Carter himself. The paperweight read, "Cursed be he who moves my body." It is questionable whether his death is followed by the curse. Surprisingly, Howard Carter, the leader of the excavation team, died in 1939 at the age of 64. He was not included in the 8 deaths in 12 years. In this regard, some believe it was because of a ring that he wore during the excavation of the tomb. The ring was discovered in a tomb in the Valley of Rings by the Marquis de Grain, and when tested with technology, it was found to have unique magnetic fields around it. In the end, the excavation was described as costly, with some claiming that it was a coincidence and that there were no real curses. However, historical studies have confirmed that these deaths are real, and it remains to be seen whether the deaths were in the form of curses. What do you think about the curse? Please share your thoughts on this in the comments, and stay tuned for more interesting topics to be covered next week.